Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your energy elemental reading for July of 2026 for the energy of fire, if I can remember what direction I'm pointing. Fire covers the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. If you've never had your charts read or you're curious about a chart, there's a link in the description to a natal chart through Llewellyn. It's not sponsored or anything like that, but it's just a tool that I found useful that you might be interested in, so you can check that out. And the other links down there are affiliate links, so that does help support the channel. With that, we will get started with our I-ching hexagram, which I cast before we started the video. And fire, you have number 20, which is called Looking Down. And the text is, looking down, the ablution has been performed, but not the sacrifice. Sincerity inspires respect. So this is really saying that you've made the plan. You've already asked for divine forgiveness. The sacrifice hasn't been completed, though. And it's also talking about sincerity. This is where you want to make sure that you are speaking the truth. You're wanting to be as clear as possible with what you're bringing forward, because the energy is basically saying that you're kind of above a situation, you're watching it, but you also want to make sure that you're not being too arrogant about it either. So you want to be in that more balanced state. So our foundation line here, looking at things in a childish way is not blameworthy in ordinary people, but in superior man it is misfortune. So to be someone who is higher than a childlike person, you're not wanting to look at things in that childish way. You want to look at things from the more mature fashion. This is that observer aspect where you're sometimes being quiet, but you're just paying attention to what's going on, and you're not making judgment calls. You're evaluating the situation and making your decisions based upon that. And that is a significantly different from being in the childish aspect. So this is where you get to flex your maturity and flex your skill at knowledge and moving forward. So your second place line, watching through door cracks, is an advantage to women. And this is not being a sexist thing. It's really saying sometimes you don't want to be the one in the room watching. Maybe you want to be listening outside the door type of energy. And it's saying not everything is going to be out in the open for you. There may be times where you have to be a little more subversive to get your information or to get the knowledge. It's not saying it's a bad thing. It's not advisable in most cases. Our third place line, by contemplating our own lives, we learn to advance or retreat as required by circumstances. So this is where you're wanting to pay attention to how you're showing up in the world, because by contemplating our own lives, this is where you get to figure out where are your strengths, fire, where are your weaknesses, and how do you use those both to move forward. Is it maybe a time to pause and retreat? These are all energies that you have open to you, and it's this call to making sure that if you understand yourself, the rest of the world is going to become a lot more easy to comprehend. Doesn't mean you're going to understand it, but you're going to be in a state where you can learn to understand it better. So our fourth place line, contemplating the conditions of a realm guides us as to whether we should become the ruler's guests. When you observe a situation, fire, sometimes you look at if you're going to decide if you want to start working at a certain business of some form, you want to observe the employees. That's where you're contemplating the conditions of the realm guides us as to whether we should become the ruler's guests. So if you get clear on how people are responding, and how if you're at a company, how does the crew and the employees work? How does the environment play out? Because sometimes you watch that and you're like, ooh, no, not joining this chaotic mess. And so you can really get to know a situation by observation. And that's what they're saying with this looking down energy is it's not to judge, it's to observe and make a calculated decision. So our fifth place line, The superior man does no wrong in keeping a watch upon our lives. This is, again, going back to that. You don't want to get involved this month. It's better to observe and keep silent. Take your actions according to what you have learned and seen, fire. This is where your strengths are going to be lying, but you definitely want to make sure you're aware of who you are. And if you haven't, maybe sit down with a journal and some note paper and get clear on that, at least get the path started, because that's going to open up to this broader understanding where you're contemplating life from the observer versus from the actor. And then our capstone here, our top line, nor will it be an error for the superior man to contemplate his own life. It's probably better, to be honest with you, fire, to observe and be aware of your own existence. Just one second. And to make it known to yourself, deep within as well as without, so that you're not observing from a place of unknowing. When you come to an awareness of the self, you come to an awareness of how you show up. And that also says that when you know how you show up, you can kind of start to figure out how other people show up too. So this whole energy that you're dealing with this month from the I-ching fire is learning to understand the concept of the ultimate observer and being able to step into that role where you get to be the one observing, you get to be the one contemplating reality as a whole. And this is a rather interesting philosophical exercise if you've never tried it. And that's where you sit and ask your question, who am I? What do I do? And then follow that up with, how do I fit into the world as I know it? And it's little things like that that will start to trigger this understanding of self, and it will also start to trigger the understanding of the universe. And sometimes it's the simple things that make the rest of it make more sense. Sometimes you realize it's a lot more complex, but in its complexity there is a gentleness or an understanding. So with that, let's hop into the cards. Each, for how I like to read for the months, is we look at however many weeks there are in the month, and then we look at a guide or guardian for each week. We look at a message from source, and then we also get a little more clarification from the tarot. And I'm notorious for doing this at the last minute. There are 5 weeks, give or take, in July, so we'll do 5 sets. And your first week's guide or guardian is number 17, Actromus. And the energy that's getting from this, I'm going to look it up in the book here in a second too, because I'm not super familiar, but the energy that comes from this is either from Arcturian or from one of the star cluster families. And this is also an energy of strength and guidance. The energy that I'm getting is a grounding energy where you're feeling more stable and more secure, but you're also feeling strength. This is not a weak energy that I'm getting with this one. So let's see what it says in the book, because this deck is fun, but there's just a lot here. Connects us with the Arcturian civilization, the peacekeepers of the galaxy. This dragon announces himself, stating he is the dragon of the 7th golden ray of dimension, kin to the Atlantean dragons who were 7th dimensional but chose to work in 5th energies, beings of Atlantis, and oversee their rising to the higher frequencies. So this is a way for you to start to hold a clear vibration of what the world really means and what it is calling in, which, let's be real here, fire, that means your I-ching is also tied into this, where you're observing, you're stepping away, and think about it. You're dealing from the star seed aspect, so you really are pulling back and observing humanity, but also observing yourself. So you're getting this energy of understanding from a broader perspective. So the message from source is the wishing well, unexpected gifts, kindness, and karmic jewels. The first week of July is going to be bringing in a balancing energy. It's also saying that the wishes are going to be fulfilled. There's this energy of things may not be exactly what you want, but they're getting closer to what you're desiring. And this is not just a frivolous thing of, oh, I want $1 million, which that would be handy for a lot of us. But it's also giving this energy of you want the stability in your life. You want the grounded partnership. You want that vehicle that's reliable. Those are the kind of the desires where you're safe, secure, and able to do the things you want to do. And that's the energy that Source is bringing in. A little more clarification from the tarot is number 17, the Star, with Archangel Jophiel. A dream come true, believing in yourself, and the end of a difficult situation. So, Fire, you are in this first week getting more clear on self. You're starting to understand what it means to actually need versus something you want. And that's deepening your understanding. And then the Star comes in saying, now it's time to really accept what Source is offering you. It's this time of accepting the overflow of abundance that really God's Source is the only one that can give you. And this first week is saying, by doing the simple things of understanding the self, by coming to a broader awareness of what it means to show up in the world for you personally, not for anyone else. And that allows you to step into the world in more confidence. And that opens the door to that wishing well energy. And the Star is saying, and shoot for the stars. Again, this first week is very much star seed themed, but it's also that concept of from above observing and of watching a situation shift and grow, where you're not actively involved in it, but you are aware of what is happening because you're watching, you're observing, you are learning. You might be calculating depending on how this plays out for you, Fire. So our second week is number 5 with the energy of peace. This dragon brings in the quietness of nature, the quietness of a restful mind, but it also has an energy a little bit of a hermit, where when you're in that peaceful state, sometimes you have to pull away from the rest of society, and that's not a bad thing, trust me. So you're in this energy where it's time to be quiet. It's time to step back. It's observing and not reacting. And it's still tying into that I-ching energy of peace, because when you're quiet, you can listen. When you are silent, you're aware. And so you're bringing that vibe into the second week. The first week was getting to understand yourself. The second week is now that you're there. Shh. Listen. You have 2 ears for a reason. So pay attention to what you're hearing, but also what you're seeing. Your message from Source is thank you, gratitude, appreciating what is sustaining you. With this energy, you want to reveal the appreciation for the silence. You want to reveal your appreciation for what God's Source has brought through. Because when you're at peace, gratitude is the natural next step. It's the natural way of being in peace. Because when you're in peace, you can show gratitude for everything. The rain. Oh, it's such a beautiful rainy day. The sun. It's so nice to have the sun out. It's helping the grass grow. So it's all of this way of looking at things in life from that state. And in the second week, even if it was a challenging time, because you are understanding the peaceful nature and you're understanding gratitude, it's coming up as, I'm grateful for the challenges because it's helped me to understand and develop who I am as a person. I'm grateful for these lessons. It's helped me grow into a better leader, spouse, parent. So it's all of that kind of thing because you're looking at it from that perspective, which is also a higher frequency perspective. Your clarification from the tarot is the Page of Gabriel, energetic, brave, optimistic, and playful. Following your passion, you are ready for challenges, opportunities for excitement and adventure. And this is that call to, don't forget, while you're being serious and peaceful and grateful, have fun with life. You don't have to be a stick in the mud. This is the energy of, yes, it's time. There are times when you need to be more serious. There are times where you have to be way more attentive to detail. But then there's all those times where you get to just relax and have fun. And this first week felt really more strict, more in your face. The second week, we're feeling this more calm energy, but it's also taking a little bit more of a serious tone where you're focusing on peace and gratitude. And the Page of Gabriel saying, yeah, those are important, but don't forget to have fun. Throw a water balloon every now and then. Go out and play with the kids in the yard if you have kids, or go to that event that no, I have to be peaceful and observant and I can't do. You can still have life. It's a mindset of observation instead of action that they're wanting you to work with. So our third week is number 31, and this is Gaia, angels and dragons of Earth. And with this energy comes the energy of the Divine Mother and the grounding energy. She is what we live on. Gaia is the planet, and these dragons are part of the support system. So this is the energy of support and of guidance. This is also a wisdom that comes in of understanding the natural world at a much clearer place. These dragons, as guardians and guides, are going to help you understand what it means to live in harmony with nature. Not in opposition to it, not in submission to it, in harmony, where you're doing things and you're using things in balance with nature. Because in most of the modern world, we have that war between, well, we have to overuse or we have to overprotect. Gaia's like, no. Everything here works together, so we gift and we receive, we use but don't abuse. And this is the energy that's coming in this third week, and you can apply this to however it shows up in your life. The first week was self-understanding. The second week was by peaceful peace and gratitude, you can move forward into joy and excitement. This third week again is this reminder to get into harmony, fire. So for you, your opposite is water, whereas fire is one way, water is another. When you find that harmony, that's when the alchemy of life really fires up. Your message from Source is the planetary wave, your soul's mission, trusting the inner call, and your soul team. This is where you start to understand the friend group you have. You may not have realized it, but you'll have the weirdest conversations. You'll have the conversations about space, about spirituality, about the energy of life or the energy of existence. That's your soul energy. That's your soul group. So when we look at with Gaia, she's grounding and anchoring us, reminding us to live on the planet we're on. The planetary wave is saying, because it's time to wake up others. Where people come together in wisdom and knowledge, their energy expands outward. And for fire, you radiate your knowledge anyway. You radiate your wisdom because you're a fire, you radiate heat. And this is that call to, even when you don't realize it, even when you don't think about it, you are still being observed as you are observing others. So this third week is that reminder to live in harmony with nature, with the world around you, and also be aware that as you live, you're influencing other people. So our third week's message from Tarot is number 2, the High Priestess. So this is the voice of the Mother Goddess on Earth with Archangel Haniel. Powerful psychic insights, reflection, and meditation that provides valuable information, being at peace. If you are struggling with thinking, especially this third week, I'm getting this energy that this may be a challenge. This whole finding harmony and getting grounded and having those kind of deeper discussions, this is where you get to tap into your intuition. Fire, intuition is something that is granted to all elements, all signs. Fire has a touch and go relationship with this, but in this energy this week, it's saying this is the time to really tap into that. And take the time for meditation, and especially this third week. In life in general, it's a good thing to do, but in this third week, it's good to remember that you have that control over what goes on up here. Yes, it can get a little loud, fully aware of how that feels, but you're the one who gets to quiet it. So when you tap into a meditation, whether it's an active meditation like yoga or Tai Chi, or it's a still meditation where you're sitting and following breathing, listening to a path working video of some form or an audio, this is where you get to reset and reground. So this third week is really about getting back into the flow of life, but doing so in a more harmonious and balanced state. So our fourth week is number 27 with I always struggle with this name, Asclepius, who I believe was one of the healers. We'll look it up in the book to make sure though. But the energy that's coming forward is to heal others, you have to understand how to heal yourself. But the other thing that comes with this is, with the understanding of healing comes the understanding of harming. And those are two opposites of the same coin. So your energy that's coming forward with this particular card is a dual-edged sword. One side is healing, one side is harming. And it's how you wield it that will show the truth and the divine nature of life. So let's see what the book has to say here. Asclepius was the ancient Greek god of medicine, the son of Apollo, and upon meeting him for the first time, his words were, "Your modern image of the catechist is incorrect," because he has one of his images. When we look through this, he is the dragon of healing and the shaman. His wisdom is boundless, and know that you have abundant knowledge at your side. So this is not just a simple energy of, oh, well, he's a healer, so I know how to heal. It's the knowledge of healing. It's the knowledge of being able to do things. And he is a source of knowledge. If you are someone who works within the healing arts, or you're in a health industry of some form, this 4th week, the energy is going to be very strong for you. You're going to feel more inspired to, well, be healthy yourself, but you're also going to be inspired to share your knowledge. You're going to be inspired to reveal to others what you know and what needs to be played out. So you are in a very interesting energy field in this 4th week. We'll see what Source brings forth, but the energy that I'm seeing is you're almost going to want to be like you're going to overcome an illness or overcome a situation that you thought was a health barrier, but because you understand how that works, you're actually going to help inspire others to overcome theirs as well. And your message from Source is interesting. Stagnant waters, feeling stuck, a call for shifts of flow and change. With that healing, you get into that point where sometimes you have to pull the cork or pull the plug on the water, open up the floodgates of the lake or the reservoir, because it's time for things to start moving. And that's this reminder from Source. If you are in a state where you're coming out of a healing situation, or you're coming out of a situation where you were not as healthy as you'd like to be, you have to get moving. You have to move towards the thing that you're looking towards. So this 4th week is where you're coming more into that vibe. I'm also, and this doesn't apply for everyone. My guides are telling me that right now. This is for a select few of you. This is also a call to embrace your spiritual and mental healing. There's what they're showing me is there's this period of darkness. Again, this isn't for everyone, this is for a few. There's a period of darkness where you weren't sure how you were going to keep moving forward, where you weren't sure how things were going to play out. This 4th week with Asclepius coming through and the stagnant water card saying enough is enough, it's time to move. It's also saying it's time to unlock the beauty of who you are, because that darkness was actually an illusion that felt so real that you fell into it. It felt so true that you believed it. And now it's time to heal that energy and say enough. And that may show up in a lot of different ways, but one of the ways you may be able to help process this is just being outdoors more, going out and playing with the puppy, or borrow a friend's dog and do something like that, and get outside a little bit more. Embrace the sun, go for a hike along a stream somewhere, but there's this energy of getting things moving again to help break this cycle that's been kind of forming for a few of you. Again, that's not everyone, but there is a specific group that they're wanting me to bring that forward for. Moving into your tarot, we have the Ace of Ariel. It's your lucky day, new resources of money, time, or support, and a change of job or promotion. So you also are stepping into a new beginning with this healing energy and this urge to break out of the stagnancy of life. It's also saying now you understand what a beginning is. You've had this feeling of being stuck. You've had this energy of not health. And this month has been a weird month for you, because coming to an awareness of self, learning peace and quiet, being able to process that better, and then finding a position of harmony, it's led to a healing for you on a soul level. Again, there could be some mental stuff going on here too, but that's where this growth is occurring. And then in this 4th week, you're really coming to the awareness of what all that means. And Fire, I'm feeling for you, this is going to be a very exciting month, but there's also an energy of nervous anticipation, because you know that it needs to happen, but you're not sure who you're going to be on the other side. And what I'm feeling before we pull the last week's cards, what I'm feeling is, yeah, you may not know who that is, but it's actually who you really are. And so you're going to get a better understanding of yourself. Before we go any further, just a quick reminder, like, comment, subscribe. But also, if you see something different with the cards, because I read intuitively, I do check the books on some of them because stuff just doesn't pop in. And so I read by that way. If you see something different, feel free to comment and let me know what your thoughts are. It's always interesting to hear other people's opinions. So our last week's guide or guardian is number 2, the energy of harmony. And with this one, I've always have felt with this card, the Archangel Camiel's energy that comes with it, which is a very soothing energy, very wrapped in pink, of course. And it's also this energy of when you are in harmony and with the flow of life, which ties into your 4th week's tarot card. When you're into harmony and the flow of life, things go better. It's also this energy of the heart chakra, opening your heart up to the agape love, that universal love from God's source, which allows us to really embrace life to the fullest. This month of July for our fire family is a little intense, but I'm feeling like it's because it's time. And fire, you're intense. You love to be a little more passionate than the rest of the signs. And that's great, because when you do something, you do it big. And that's what's happening this month, is you have made a decision to change some things in life. Not knowing what direction to take, Source has said, observe, find peace, find harmony, heal, and then rebalance everything. That's what's coming up here. So our last week's message from Source is the Lady of the Lake, new beginnings. Something is about to happen. When you get everything sorted out, and it doesn't matter if it's a big thing or a little thing, when you sort this life situation out and you get to the point in this 5th week where you're more aware of how things play, you're more aware of the movement of time, the shifting of reality, the space movement through of the planet even, you're starting to understand how strong you really have become. It doesn't mean it has to be physical strength like, ooh, I'm going to the gym. It's the energy of inner strength, soul strength. The Lady of the Lake comes forth to offer you the keys to the kingdom, or in this case, Excalibur to rule ancient Britain. But when we talk about that, we look at it as you are being guided to a fulfillment of something that you've put into play. It's also the call to a new awareness of self. July has got some ups and downs for you, Fire. It's also got a lot of really powerful shifts that are going to occur. And with those shifts, your personal awareness, not so much of everybody else, but maybe of other situations, is going to amplify greatly. And that's going to lead us to our last tarot card. We have the 4 of Ariel. When you give, you receive, being resistant to change, extremes in how you spend or save money or time. And this energy is saying, learn to go with the flow. There's times where you're going to be the giver. There's times when you're going to be the receiver. Change is inevitable. And trust me when I say this, it's not always pleasant, because we don't like change. Most humans don't want to change. They have this is who we are, this is how we act. But for you, Fire, this month has been transformational, meaning you have changed from within. When that happens, the outside world's going to shift too. And that may mean some uncomfortable shifts that are occurring. But it's also that reminder to pay attention to how you're using your time. Pay attention to what you're putting your energy and focus towards. Because, Fire, what I'm seeing for you this month as a whole is a deeper awareness of self, a deeper awareness of your position in the world. Everyone, and I don't fully believe in this whole thing of like one person special. It's saying, understand you are special, just you're special in God's source's eyes. And with that, embrace your uniqueness, embrace your healing, and embrace your harmonious flow into the path of life. Because when you can do that, your one little candle joins the other one little candles, and it becomes a searchlight. It becomes a beam. It becomes a beacon to others who want to learn and grow. And Fire, that's the vibe that's coming up here. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your month. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz. And I will see you in the next video.